Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 277. Page 277, and today is our lesson number 36. Problem number 28 is what we are about to do. We are told that we have this woman by the name of Carmen who currently works 30 hours per week at her job, and we are told that her gross hourly wage goes up by $1.50. So here it is. She works 30 hours per week. Her hourly wage, we are told, has gone up by $1.50, and as a result the question is now, how many fewer hours must she work? How many fewer hours must she work in order to maintain her current gross weekly salary? In other words, she doesn't want to make any more money. She wants to work fewer hours. And the question is, how many fewer hours can she work and still have the same gross hourly wage as before? That's the question. Let's look at the first statement. The first statement tells us that her weekly salary, our weekly pay, was $225. Is that information enough to answer the question, how many fewer hours should she work? And the answer is yes. The statement number one by itself is enough. A-D-B-C-E. Let's quickly talk about how we know that it is enough. Now the procedure that I'm about to describe, in the real exam we won't actually do it out. You just have to think about it in your head, the step that one would take in order to be able to answer this question, or in order for you to arrive at the conclusion that it is not possible to answer the question. The question being, how many fewer hours should she work if she still wants to have the same gross weekly salary as before, after having gotten a $1.50 raise per hour. It's very simple. We know that her weekly salary is $225. If we were to take this $225 and divide it by 30, because we know that we are told that she works 30 hours per week. If we were to divide $225 by 30, we will know the number of hours that she works currently. Then, or rather, if we were to divide this $225 by 30, we will know her current hourly wage. $225 divided by 30, she makes $225 per week. She works 30 hours per week. Therefore, $225 divided by 30 will give us her current hourly wage. Once we have the current hourly wage, we can add $1.50 to it and get a new hourly wage. Her new hourly wage. And once we have the new hourly wage, we divide this $225 again by the new hourly wage, and we will know how many hours she needs to work in order to maintain the $225. In order to maintain the income of $225 per week. And once we have the new number of hours that she needs to work, we take the difference of the old hours and the new hours, and voila, we have the answer. That's it. So first statement by itself does do the job. First statement by itself does do the job. Therefore, since the first statement by itself works, answer cannot be B, C, or D. It's got to be either A or D. Now the work that we are about to do, the work that we are about to embark upon, is not something you will do in the real exam. In the real exam, what we are about to do would be a sheer, complete, utter waste of time, which is to actually figure out how many fewer hours does she actually need to work. Let's find that out, shall we? Why, you ask? Well, there is a very nice answer for it, and the answer is just for the hell of it, just for learning purposes, because it's fun. Let's do it. So $225, that's her gross hourly wage, gross weekly salary. Let's divide that by 30 hours that she works. Let's divide by 30. Now I'm not going to go about trying to divide 225 by 30, so we're going to write this 30 as 3 times 10. Because it's much easier to divide 225 by 3. How many 3's in a 2? How many 3's in a 2? 2 has 0 3's. This 2 goes and joins that 2, becomes 22. How many 3's in a 22? 22 has 7 3's. 7 3's are 21. The remaining one goes and joins this guy, becomes 15. How many 3's in 15? 15 has 5 3's. Voila. So we end up with So 3 cancels out and we end up with 75. So 75 divided by 10 is what we end up with, which of course is $7.50 per hour. That's her current hourly wage. She gets a $1.50 raise. So her new hourly wage equals $9. She still wants to make the same amount of money, so we need to divide 225 by 9. Let's do that. Can't be that bad. How many 9s in a 2? 2 has no 9s. 0. That 2 goes and joins that 2, becomes 22. How many 2s in a how many 9s in a 22? 22 has 2 9s. 2 9s are 18. The remaining 4 goes and joins this guy, becomes 45. How many 9s in a 45? 45 has 5 9s. 5 9s are 45. Voila, voila, there we go. She needs to work 25 hours now that she has gotten a raise. Before she was working 30 hours. Therefore she now needs to work 5 fewer hours. 5 fewer hours. Now, like I said before, this is not what we will do in the exam. All of this thing was not necessary. This is not what does in the real exam. But while you're doing these questions for practice, obviously, which is why you're watching this video, you're not timing yourself. You're just doing it just to learn the math. That is precisely the point here. To learn the math that is required on the GMAT is always a good idea. To practice as much as you can, and this is an excellent practice. Understand? In the real exam, you won't do that. But in order for you to be able to tell right away like that it is possible to answer the question based on the information that is given, you have to know actually how to do it. That requires practice. Anyway, enough said. Let's look at second statement, shall we? So first statement works. The answer has got to be either A or a D. Let's see if the second statement has anything worthwhile. In the second statement, they tell us an increase of $1.50 would represent an increase of 20% of our current gross hourly wage. All right. So an increase of $1.50 represents, which is same as saying is equal to 20% of our current hourly wage. W here represents our current hourly wage. So $1.50 equals 20% of her current hourly wage. That makes life very easy. Since she wants to maintain the same amount of income as before, this is what her gross income was. Her gross income was 30 times W, because W is her hourly wage. So her hourly wage times 30 was her gross income, which we know is actually we don't. See, the 225 part was from the first statement. We got to ignore it. We got to erase our memory. That information is gone. So, which is just as well because we're not using it here. So 30 times W represents her gross hourly wage before she got the raise. And that hourly wage, sorry, not hourly wage, that's not what I meant to say. Her gross weekly salary is what I meant to say. This is her gross weekly salary. Now she's got a $1.50 raise, which we are told in the second statement that represents a 20% increase in her hourly salary. So her new hours, which let's represent with X, must equal X times her new wage, which is 1.2 times W, which represents 20% more than the W. This amount must equal that amount. I see a W on this side. I see a W on this side of the equation. I see a W on this side of the equation. Let's kill it. Which means X equals 30 divided by 1.2. X equals 30 divided by 1.2. And I don't know about you, but I'm not too keen about dividing any freaking thing by 1.2. So let's make that into 12. Multiply top and bottom by 10. It becomes 300 over 12. That's much easier. That's much more pleasant to deal with than 1.2. How many 12s in a 3? Obviously 3 has no 12s. That 3 goes and joins this guy, becomes 30. How many 12s in 30? 30 has 2 12s. 2 12s are 24. 24. The remaining 6 goes and joins this guy, becomes 60. How many 12s in 60? 5 12s are 60. voila, voila, 25, which represents her new number of hours. New number of hours per week she must work. I'm not going to write everything. After having gotten the raise, after having gotten the raise of $50, which we were told represents 20% increase in her hourly wage. Good for her. I will see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.